Hello. One thing that we were taught a lot about in college is the importance of engagement strategies and how instead of just using direct instruction, it's important to let students explore, use manipulatives, and get to work with the content in a hands-on way and in a way that engages them. And so going into student teaching, I knew that was something I wanted to incorporate in my lessons, but I didn't exactly understand the complete importance of it. And I think my philosophy on engagement strategies has changed dramatically. It is so vital to lessons and to teaching kids. An example of this is I was teaching a math lesson, and we were kind of getting to the point where we were moving away from just manipulating the numbers and then putting it into an equation. And so instead of just teaching it, I decided to use manipulatives and discussion and let them get to the conclusion of what an equation would look like. And so it took a lot of preparation, it took a lot of work, it took a lot of facilitating. It was not easy, but using this engagement strategy of letting them discover and get to the equation on their own totally changed their learning. And I think it sticks with them a lot more than me just giving them the equation would have. Another example of this is our school does something called curriculum days. And so whatever we're learning in history is once a semester. We'll take half a day. Students will dress up as what we're learning about. In this case, it was ancient Egyptians. So they all dressed up as Egyptians, and each teacher planned activities in their classroom that had to do with Egyptians and what they would have done. And so allowing students to experience and become engaged in a real way into the content totally changes the way that they interact with the content and the way that they retain it. And so those are two examples of how using engagement strategies I saw changed students in the way that they engage with the content. For technology, the school I'm at doesn't use a ton of technology. And so I think as I become a first-year teacher and start to teach on my own, I think the way I use it will change, because right now I'm just not using it a ton. But one thing I have come to the conclusion of is that there are so many great resources online, so many ways that technology can help enhance a lesson. I personally don't think it should be the main focus of a lesson, but I think it can really enhance a lesson. And so technology is something that I want to explore more in my teaching career, and just determine ways that I'll use it in more ways than I'm using it now. But I do think it is a really beneficial resource to help enhance lessons, whether that be through videos or follow along crafts or things that you can do to enhance a lesson. I think can be really important and vital, and that's what I've used in lessons this semester that has helped students a lot in their appreciation and understanding of the content. As for implementing Christian worldview, I think I implement this a lot in the way that I discipline students. I hold students to high standards, and it's standards that we have in our classroom. They know what the standards are, but I think it's the way I hold them to it that shows and speaks to my Christian worldview and Christian background. I make sure that students understand that when I am disciplining them, it is not because I am mad at them. It is actually because I love them that I'm holding them to these standards. So if I ask them to go sit at their desk and recollect themselves before coming back to the rocking chair, it is not because I'm mad at them. It is because I love them that I'm holding them to the standards. I make it very clear that when I discipline them, it is not me against them. It is me and them on the same side working to improve our habits or working to hold ourselves to standards. And I think I do it in a very loving and gracious way. And so I think that is the way that I demonstrate my Christian background and worldview in the classroom. The Bible talks a lot about disciplining. A father disciplines out of love, and it is because they love them that they're disciplined, and that's the stance I take in the classroom. It is not because I'm mad. It is not because I don't love my student. It's actually the opposite. It's because I love them that I'm holding them to the standards. And so I think I approach discipline in a very gracious and loving way that also shows the love of Jesus.